This video has been created to assist local education agencies in completing the required resolution meeting data form. When a parent requests a due process hearing, the Individual with Disabilities Act requires the parent and local education agency to participate in a resolution meeting. The only exception to this rule is when both parties agree in writing to waive the meeting, or both parties have agreed to use mediation in lieu of the resolution meeting. Regardless of which option is chosen by the parties, the local education agency must complete and submit the resolution meeting data form. The information provided in the resolution meeting data form is used by the Office for Dispute Resolution for federally mandated statistical reporting. The hearing officer uses the form for timeline purposes, and the Bureau of Special Education uses the information to assess compliance with resolution meeting statutory requirements. Once the form is completed, a copy will be automatically sent to the Office for Dispute Resolution, the assigned hearing officer, and both parties. Please do not attempt to complete the form unless the resolution requirement has been completed or the time to complete the requirement has expired. We will now walk you through completing the form. The resolution meeting data form is completed via electronic submission. A link to the form, along with the case file number and password, are sent to the LEA contact in the initial email from the Office for Dispute Resolution. Here you are seeing an example of the email that is sent to the LEA contact using a mock case file. First, use the link provided in the initial email to go to the website. Once you are on the website, scroll to the bottom of the page and select the link Online Submission. You will now see a pop-up box with a green button marked Go to URL at the bottom of the box, along with a disclaimer. Select the green Go to URL button. You are now in the case lookup page. This is where you will enter the case file number and password provided to you to access the form. Please know the file number must be entered in the file number -school year format with a hyphen between the years. The password must be the exact password generated in the initial email without any additional spaces or keystrokes. It is recommended to avoid error that you copy and paste the file number and password from the email provided to you. Once the information has been entered, the system will confirm it has a match by returning a mirror of the information. This is to confirm this is the case you would like to access. You will then select Continue to bring up the selected form. The form itself has been designed to guide you through a series of questions based on previous selection. The form is designed to not allow for inappropriate combinations, such as entering the date the resolution meeting was held, but selecting meeting not held as an outcome. First, we will complete the form as if the meeting were held and view the possible options. Begin by entering your name, title, phone number, email address, and retype your name to act as your signature. You will then select the date you are completing the form. You will then choose Resolution Meeting Held, Yes. Please note that at any time you have the option to save the information and exit the form. After selecting Meeting Held Yes, we will select Continue. You will now be brought to the second page to provide details about the meeting. In Part A, you will begin by selecting the date that the meeting was held. If the meeting was not held within 15 days from the date the complaint was filed, the system will acknowledge this and ask that you provide information as to why the meeting could not be held within the 15 days. In Part B, we will now proceed to give details about who attended the meeting. Please note if a no response is selected for any necessary members of the team, the system will automatically provide a text box to allow for explanation. Part C will gather information on the result of the meeting. You may choose one of 6 options for the result of the resolution meeting. Definitions of the results can be found below. Once you have completed Part C, you have the option to save and exit the form for completion later, or return to the previous page for any alterations, or continue to the final page. On the final page, you will be given the opportunity to add comments. This box should be used for any additional details you wish to share or information you feel was not covered in the previous questions. At the bottom of this page, you will see a review button that will allow you to review previous answers on the form. After you review, you will see a button on the final page marked Submit. You may now submit the form. By submitting the form, ODR will be notified of the submission and the form will no longer be modifiable. Now we will complete the form when the meeting has not been held. We begin by selecting Meeting Held No. The form will now direct you to a page providing options as to why the meeting was not held. You may only choose one answer from the category. If you select both parties agreed in writing to waive the resolution meeting, the system will automatically open a box requesting the date the meeting was waived. Other options available are: the hearing officer dismissed the complaint prior to the expiration of the 15-day timeline, the parent withdrew the request for due process, the case settled prior to the expiration of the 15-day time period, the 30-day resolution period has ended, and the parent has declined to participate in the resolution meeting, or the parties chose to participate in mediation in lieu of the resolution meeting. If mediation is chosen, you will be taken to an additional screen that requests information regarding the mediation outcome. If you choose any other option, you will be taken to the final page. You will only be able to select one mediation outcome option. The mediation outcome options are: agreement reached on all issues, partial agreement reached at mediation, after the mediation started but before the end of the 30-day resolution period, the parties agreed in writing that no agreement was possible, preliminary agreement reached at the mediation session, but parties do expect to finalize within the 30-day resolution period. Preliminary agreement reached at the mediation, but parties do not feel that it can be finalized within the 30-day resolution period. The parties agree to continue the mediation at the end of the 30-day resolution period. This should be used if the mediation was scheduled beyond the 30-day resolution period. And lastly, no agreement was reached at the mediation. Once you make your selection and continue, you will be brought to the final page. On the final page, you will be given the opportunity to add comments. This box should be used for any additional details you wish to share or information you feel was not covered in the previous questions. At the bottom of this page, you will be able to review your previous answers on the form. After your review, you will see a button on the final page marked Submit. You may now submit the form. By submitting the form, ODR will be notified of the submission and the form will no longer be modifiable. This concludes the instruction for completing the resolution meeting data form. For any additional questions or complications you experience while completing the form, please contact Karen Eberly at the Office for Dispute Resolution at keberly@odr-pa.org or 1-800-222-3353, option 8.